in Anderson County, there's 5 school districts. Anderson 5 is the largest. We're actually the smallest geographically, but we have the city of Anderson, so we're more urban. We have 23 school sites. We have approximately 14,000 students. We're growing a little each year, which is good. We're not losing enrollment. We're like a business. You don't want to lose clients. But we're not adding 500 students every year. So our growth is manageable. We have approximately 1,800 employees. We have around $130 million budget, all in with federal money and local money. Well, last year was a very successful year for School District 5. Several big things happened. Number one, we had our annual or 5-year annual accreditation, which is called Advanced Ed, because every school district's required to do it. We're a team of outside folks come and stay for about a week and examine our district, look at documentation, interview dozens of parents, teachers, community members, and we passed with flying colors and received full accreditation, which means that all our graduates are graduating from accredited high schools, and there's no problem with them going on to college. Another big event we had last year was we began construction on the Anderson Institute of Technology, which is located on the site of the old Lakeside Middle School on 28 Bypass. It's a joint partnership between Anderson District 5, District 3, and District 4. And it's a new career center. We're excited to have Dr. Bob Couch, who is well known not only in South Carolina but in the Southeast, is a leading expert in career and technical education. He's been on board all year. That building is scheduled to open in August of 19, and it will serve students from T.L. Hanna, Westside, Crescent High School, and also Pendleton High School. One of the unique qualities of that facility, that basically it's located on the same campus or adjoining campus to Tri-County Technical College. This is a huge advantage for our students who can walk next door and take dual enrollment classes during college credit. So it's going to be a state-of-the-art facility. There will be none like it in the state. It will be cutting edge. We're already working closely with local industries, developing partnerships. There'll be some naming rights with local industries that we're working on. So the general public will see a lot of local partners working with us, not only with financial support, but also with technical support. It's what economic development will be able to do is when they have prospective clients that want to relocate to this area, they can go into that Anderson Institute of Technology and tour the mechatronics lab, tour the welding lab, other pathways. It's going to be about 19 pathways there that students can take, and it's a game changer. And it's really, we have a career center, which is the old Boys High, the old McDuffie High, and it served us well. But this is, state of the art, and it's really going to be a benefit for Crescent High School and Pendleton because they really don't have a career center. So, and I think it just showed good common sense that 3 districts got together. How can we pool our resources to build one great facility other than all 3 districts trying to build one, similar to what is in districts 1 and 2. They have one that serves those 2 school districts located in Williamston. But the advantage of it is high school kids, they want to participate in sports and band and drama and choral music and all those things. So for a lot of our students, they may spend half a day at the Anderson Institute of Technology, then a half a day at Tri-County Tech, and go back to their local high school and go to football practice or band practice or cheerleading or whatever they're into. So it's really the best of both worlds. And it's not just, it's certainly not for kids that don't want to go to college, because every child should go through that, because hopefully everybody's going to have a job eventually. And whether it's they're going to be a physician, or they're going to be a nursing assistant, or they're going to be a vet, or they're going to be a vet assistant, or they're going to be an engineer or a technician. So every pathway, you'll have kids that are, some are going to go to Georgia Tech or Clemson or MIT and become an engineer, sitting beside someone who is going to be a technician, fabricating metal or whatever. So it's really, we need parents to understand, and as our parents, so many now are obviously in their 40s or whatever, so they've kind of seen the change in education. Folks in their 60s and 70s still view maybe a career center as, well, that's an old tech high school. Well, that's not the case.
And the pay has changed dramatically from their thoughts.
Oh yeah, you can look at the starting salary at what some of these industries are paying kids right out of high school. Then they'll also pay them to go to Tri-County Tech and get an additional degree or certification. Some actually pay them while they're in class, their hourly rate. So the game has changed, and AIT is just allowing us to change with it. We feel like we're working with our general contractor, that we're right on track. The weather, obviously, it's been a very rainy summer, but we're getting to the point close where rain's not going to bother us. It can start to get dried in, and we are having a program there on August the 14th where we're going to announce a big partnership with the local industry that will be announced that day. So hopefully the media will cover that. Couple of big things. Number one, we were able to roll out Chromebooks, which are basically a laptop, from kindergarten through 12th grade. Our third graders through 12th would actually bring it home every day, just like a textbook. And we would ask parents to make sure they take care of them, because they're not as durable sometimes as a textbook. But in addition to that, we've provided additional support, not only in some employees we call digital integration specialists. These are people that work with teachers how to use these devices in the classroom. Then also we've added additional staff, break it and fix people to keep them running. Because a lot of school districts have made the mistake around this country. They buy the devices, they give them to teachers, and they go, y'all use them. Well, you can't do that. It's like a three-legged stool. You got to have the device, you got to have people working with teachers to show teachers how this can improve instruction. Then you got to keep them running. We feel, and I want to commend our board, because we've allocated a lot of money and personnel to support this Google platform that we operate on. So that's a big change. We think it's going to improve instruction. Our preliminary test data from SC Ready looks very positive from last year. We're still crunching those numbers, and they'll be released in the near future. So we think that we're on the right track instructionally. Another thing that we're excited about is that District 5 was the first school district that was approved by the Education Oversight Committee to have what's called e-learning. And basically what that is when we have inclement weather and we have to call school off, we will have school virtually between the teacher and their students via the Chromebooks. And it's that way we won't have to come back to school at the end of the year and make up a snow day when only about 25% of the kids show up. It messes up vacations. You know, around Easter, we'll have Good Friday scheduled to be off. Then we have to, and if it's a snow day, we have to come to school then, and attendance is poor. We think it's going to save the state money because you have to run a school bus whether one child rides it or 50. And so we were approved. Other states are doing that. We had a presentation before the Education Oversight Committee in May and was approved in June. There will be some other pilots around the state. That was through a proviso in the budget. And so we're excited to pilot that. And our calendar is basically firm. You know, parents will see if it says snow makeup day, that's really going to be a holiday because we won't have to make those up. So we'll see. You know, some years you have a lot of inclement weather days. Some years you have none. Last year was unusual with Hurricane Irma. You know, we missed several because of power. You know, then we had some snow. So you just never know. But we think this is the way that it's going to be in the future. People are getting college degrees without ever going on campus. And that's really all it is an online learning day. We've also instructionally, and a lot of these things that I've mentioned were a result of the advanced ed visit, things they told us. For example, both our high schools now are going to be on the same schedule per se as far as exams and what exams count and what daily work counts. Because we do have kids that move back and forth. We feel good about that. You know, both principals agreed on percentage of exams, weight, et cetera, et cetera. Next year, or this coming school year, we're graduating on the last day of school. For the last 2 weeks of school, the underclassmen are like, school's out. And we're going to go back the way it was when I graduated high school. It was the last day of school. And we'll have exams for underclassmen the last 2 days of school. We'll graduate the last day. And we are graduating at Bon Secours because we couldn't get Little John because of some scheduling problems. And we do get questions from time to time, why don't you use somewhere in Anderson? Well, with 400 graduates and parents want to bring 7 or 8 or 10 guests, there's nowhere big enough to do that. We wish it was a facility big enough in Anderson, but it's not, and so we will go to Bon Secours. We got a lot of construction projects that we're finishing. At our last board meeting, our board approved a bid for the construction of the Southwood Fine Arts Center. That was the last bullet item when we campaigned for the sales tax. Everything that we told the voters we were going to build or do with the approval of that bid, it's all done. Now, we've been able to do other things because of additional revenue that the sales tax has brought in more revenue than was projected, which was good because our bond council are very conservative and the growth has been higher, and we hope it continues. That's the 1 cent sales tax is generating, in the last 3 months, has generated $6 million for Anderson County. Now, Anderson District 5 gets 40% of that, and it's prorated among the 5 school districts. So we've approved the Fine Arts Center. It seats 400, state-of-the-art technology, dressing rooms, green room, practice facility downstairs in a basement. It's really going to be a very, very nice mid-size facility for our performing arts. We still use Calhoun. We still use Project Challenge Playhouse that we put in over $600,000 of sales tax money renovating that. So we're excited that we have an intimate setting like Project Challenge Playhouse. We have a large facility like Calhoun that seats over 800, and now we will have the Southwood Fine Arts Center that seats 400 or a little over 400. So with that project, everything was done. Other projects currently going on that are being paid for with sales tax. We're putting artificial turf on both baseball and softball fields at Hannah and Westside. We just think it's the way to go. Financially, we did it in the stadium several years ago. It's you can play on it 24 hours a day. We're also, and the beauty about baseball and softball, you can play now when it's raining. You don't have to worry about the pitching mound getting muddy or batter's box. So that's a huge advantage. Also at both high schools, and we will be the first high school in the state, the first school district in the state to have turf on baseball and softball fields. There are a few colleges that do. Anderson University has it on their softball field. North Greenville has it on their baseball field. Well, we'll be the first high school to have that. And we think others will fall in line because it makes financial sense. We're also building 2 new facilities at both high schools. We're building a multi-purpose building. We have 2 locker rooms with about 60 lockers in each one for male, one for female. Can use a lot of our fall sports. That along with our field house, we'll have ample dressing facilities. And it also has a multi-purpose room that can be used for cheerleading practice, flag corps practice. And the unique thing about it, it has batting cages that will lower out of the ceiling so you can have indoor baseball and softball batting practice inside. So, that's going to be a nice addition to what we offer kids in our athletic programs. We're also in the process, and we approved the bid, we're demolishing and part of the old McCants that we own. The county owns the main building, as you know, and Meals on Wheels and all that stuff's there. That back area, if any of our viewers go down Whitner Street, it was caved in, it was falling down. Quite honestly, it was a safety hazard. We're demolishing a large portion of that, and we approved the bid to do that. There'll be 2 buildings left. I attended junior high there, back where we had wood shop, those buildings, and the viewers that went there will know what I'm talking about. We store a lot of our buildings and grounds material there, also some stuff in our culinary services. We'll keep those 2 buildings. They're not, they're in pretty good shape. When the Career Center closes and we move to AIT, we're going to repurpose a lot of the Career Center for buildings and grounds, some other auxiliary services. Then we'll demolish the rest of that and plant grass and just have a natural green space there, because the last thing Anderson needs is another dilapidated building. So we're going to take care of that, get that demolished. We get calls a lot of time about the old Cleo Bailey building. We don't own that. I've been told somebody in Florida owns it, but it needs to be demolished as well. But that doesn't belong to us. So we're trying to be a good neighbor and take care of this building that's fallen down. So those are the major construction projects. This summer we've done a lot of, because of the sales tax over the last few years, we've been able to have a more robust preventative maintenance plan, which we'd never had before, where we're painting schools on a regular basis and a cycle that schools are going to be painted. Parking lots get resealed and recoated and restriped. HVAC gets replaced. And the sales tax, has allowed us to do that. All our schools are in great shape. The oldest is obviously the McCants, which is the old TL Hanna. We've put close to $2 million in there this summer on some ceiling work, floor coverings, painting, some security enhancements, and some other projects. And we'll continue to do that to continue to improve that facility. We put a roof on it a couple of years ago that was a little less than $1 million. So we're trying to maintain that facility, but everything else is in great shape. Those elementary schools that were built in the 50s on that bond referendum in the early 50s, Concord, Centerville, Homeland Park, those buildings are rock solid. They've been renovated and upgraded, and any of our listeners or viewers, that if you go in those facilities, you would never know it was a school built 60 years ago. So those are the major projects, and we'll continue as sales tax comes in. Look at other things that you always have needs. We bought 5 new auxiliary buses last year, air conditioned. I think we now have a fleet of about a dozen air conditioned school buses that we can use to transport kids around the state. I think every school bus period needs to be air conditioned. Kids certainly behave better when it's cool on a bus and not hot. But those are state owned and not owned by us. Yeah, we're very proud of obviously TL Hanna is a flag bearer around the state. We've seen significant improvement in our graduation rates, particularly at Westside. Westside was recognized by the National Dropout Prevention Center last year for their significant gains in graduation rate. Robert Anderson Middle School is applied to be a Palmetto's finest because of gains they've made. Many of our elementaries continue to excel. The others are working very hard. We're seeing the needle move in all our schools. We've made some administrative changes where we asked some of our most talented principals to accept some of our most challenging elementary schools, and they've done that. So I feel good where we are in District 5. Our school board is very cohesive. They work closely together. They state their opinions, and the beauty of it is they all realize that you accomplish by consensus, and you're a team, and sometimes you have to give a little, and sometimes somebody gives a little to you. But I've been very pleased with the school board. We have a close relationship with the sheriff's department, the city government. As you know, we have an SRO in every school, and we work closely with those entities. We wish we didn't have to have them, but unfortunately that's just the nature of the beast now. And we work closely with Chief Stewart and Sheriff McBride, and they're great partners with us. They use our schools for a lot of training, which we want them to. One of the things that we worked with the Sheriff's Department, our contract originally for most of the SROs was 9 months, but we met with the Sheriff's Department, met with Mr. Burns, and one of the things they proposed, and it made good sense to us, they wanted us to pay for them for 12 months because that way they can have intensive training in the summer. They'll almost be like a SWAT team, and all those SROs. And what I like, they talked about getting some insignias that they would wear to show they're an SRO, and they work as a team. So if there is a crisis, they're familiar with each school. And I think it's a 8-week cycle. A couple of the weeks they'll be in their community where their school is, basically doing community policing, getting to know the community and parents, and the ins and out. So I commend Sheriff McBride because I think it was a great plan, and we try every day, how can we make our schools safer? And unfortunately, there's not a day goes by that any administrator or superintendent or principal or whatever, every day you get up and you go, is this going to be the day something happens in my district? So we can't control that. All we can do is do everything we can to control it and be as diligent as possible. We preach, if you see something, you say something. And the times that we've taken weapons or whatever off kids usually come from a student trusting somebody to tell a teacher, a coach, or counselor. And that's the best way, that's the best safety prevention, is when students trust adults enough to go to them, and it happens all the time. It could be something insignificant. It could be I heard somebody was wanting to commit suicide, and so our kids, I'm proud of the fact they feel comfortable to tell somebody, and then we can deal with it. So it's a good community here. Everybody's on the same page. I do feel this is starting my 6th year, that the community wants to be the best in the state in everything we do. Standard of living, what's the community like, and there are a lot of challenges here, just like everywhere, but I think we're all pulling on the same wagon, and it's not so important that we think alike. What's important is that we think together, and I can say we, between the county government, city government, school system, our local delegation, everybody we work with, is their whole feeling is, what can we do to make this a better place to raise kids, recruit people to live here, and raise our standard of living?